Hi, Eric. This is Doug from the Voodoo Lounge giving you a call. How are you, man?
Good, Doug. How are you?
I'm good, man. You got time to do a little bit of radio time?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Excellent.
My
Well,
pleasure.
well, I tell you, man, this year is all going to be pre-recorded, so
Okay,
we don't have to worry about what we say or anything like
that's
that.
fair enough. That's fair enough. That's always good.
Yeah,
Just don't
well,
make me look bad. That's all.
I know, man. We'll do our best to make you shine, buddy.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
You bet. First of all, Eric, I just wanted to say thanks for doing this. I'm sure you're busy as can be.
No, no, we're busy, but I mean, it's always flattering when anybody's interested in my story. It's yeah, kind of a one-man show most of the time, and you feel like you're out on an island sometimes with the internet. But it's just good when there's some recognition that we've kind of done something pretty cool in 15 years.
Sure. And I tell you, man, I talk to guys on the show quite a bit about this. But I think as far as the internet goes, for guys doing what you're doing, the internet's been a pretty effective tool, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think when I started, it was it's kind of an anomaly to be able to sell guitars online because it was always the mantra that the guitar player needed to play their instrument before they buy it. I was
Sure.
me included, to be
Yeah, me
honest
too.
with you.
Me
But
too.
when I just truly became immersed in the instrument like I did, and I realized that the part of me that really shined, I guess, in regards to the love of the instrument was really cosmetic. I mean, I just loved the aesthetics of it, the woods and everything. So that kind of made it palatable to sell online for people that really were like me, that loved the look of the guitar as much as they liked the playability. So that initial visual appeal was there. Thus, the internet could probably provide that to a great many more people than probably a walking environment. So
Sure, sure. Now, let me get this right. Now, you started that, what, about 1999?
yes, 1999.
Okay. And now, so, where does this guy go? Where did you go to, learn how to customize guitars?
I don't think I really went anywhere to learn. I was in corporate sales, from the time I got out of school, and I started buying and selling guitars when the internet kind of blossomed, kind of as a hobby. Pretty much just buying for myself, and I noticed that like anything else, I was already in sales, and smart buying and smart selling, yielded a profit. It's as simple as
Yeah,
that. And I
yeah.
started it was a vintage, um, the vintage sector. Met some really amazing people. They gave me great advice, and I really liked it. Although I will tell you, the vintage guitar thing was never really my bag, so to speak.
Okay.
I always had this thing in my mind. What if I could marry up with a manufacturer that would take some of my design ideas and let me run with it? So obviously it worked out great with Washburn. I ran into a lot of doors before I got to Washburn. I can assure you, a lot of doors slammed in my face.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I can imagine. I can
yeah,
imagine.
just the Washburn thing. Yeah, Rudy Schlocker was the name of the gentleman who owned the company at the time, and he, yeah, I guess he just saw my vision to try to do this internet-only business, but really take his designs and customize them, and then in turn from there it led into interfacing with their artists.
Very cool. Now, at that point, you're just getting started in this. I mean, that's got to be pretty much uncharted territory for you, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely,
I would
absolutely.
imagine
Um,
there were a bunch of probably a lot of sleepless nights there at first, huh?
a little bit in the beginning. I mean, everything just kind of happened so fast. The arrangement with Washburn was that I agreed to only work with them. They owned U.S. Music Corporation, which was Washburn and Parker. In exchange, then I would get some exclusivity and be able to do some very unique things with them. The artist part of it kind of came quickly because at the time they had a deal with Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, and it was just amazing to be able to help customize some of those guitars.
Yeah.
And then at the time, the Dimebag Darrell
Oh,
from Pantera was their large artist, and I got a chance to work with him at the tail end of his career before he went to Dean Guitars, and then obviously the tragedy was taken from us.
yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, the personalities and just trying to get a good grip on what they like aesthetically and so forth. And working with Washburn to make that happen. I mean, it was fun, but there's times where you kind of bang your head against the wall too. It's not always a home run every time.
Oh,
So
I can imagine. Now, working with the artists, and of course, eventually that led you to do a bunch of work with Paul Stanley.
Yeah, that was the coup de grace for me. There was a long story there. The long short story there basically was I used to chide the owner of the company, Rudy Schlocker, when I was there at Washburn a couple of times a year. And I said, hey, this is great, but you need to bring Paul Stanley back. And they would, they say, well, I don't know if we can do that. And then one day, 2006, I got this, I got the call that he was coming back, and it was just amazing for me because I knew once he was coming back that we would definitely, it was inevitable that we would be doing great work together. I mean, I grew up. I mean, he was that guy. Not so much the band, but that guy was the ultimate rock star to me.
Oh
So
yeah,
it was just
yeah, me too. Me
just
too.
so it just sounds kind of ridiculous. One of the icons of my childhood was this guy. There's no question.
Sure.
And to be working with him now, to be working with him and realizing he's just he is exactly what I hoped. You never want to be let down by your hero, right?
Right.
You never want to
Right.
do that. But no, he's never let me down, and it's just been really a great ride. Great ride.
Well, and I tell you, man, Paul Stanley has always had the coolest guitars on the planet, and it's just really cool that you have become part of that story. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lucky guy. It's funny. I get a lot of credit for kind of like what Kiss always would say, that they get a lot of credit for being geniuses, and it really doesn't amount to that. I think we have to run with the opportunities we're given in life.
Yeah.
And I was at the right place at the right time, doing the right type of things,
Right.
and the
Right.
pieces just fell into place. But I will tell you that it's one of those things where you see the opportunity in front of you, you've got to take it. And that, you have to be bold enough to try to do it. And I remember my first time sitting down with Paul, it was just amazing. I mean, it was hard for me to realize, wow, I've waited my whole life to meet the guy, but let alone forget the meeting part of it. Right now, we have this idea in front of us to go forward with this, and I gotta step up to the plate. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's been really cool.
Yeah, good on you, man. Now you had a lot to do. You and Paul worked together on the preacher guitar, yeah?
That was the first thing we did. Yeah, and the
All
Live
right.
the Wind tour in 2006 and 7.
Very
Yes.
cool. And I tell you, man,
And,
those guitars are absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, man. Have you ever got a chance to actually see one, or you actually play one at all?
Yeah, I actually have one. So
Oh, right on, right on. That deal was the first thing that he did with Washington when he came back, and I mean the Kiss thing was going to come. There was no question about it. But he was in the midst of the USA leg of that tour, and I was at Washington. I got a chance to see his ideas because I mean he owns all of his ideas. I mean, what you see Paul
oh
Stanley play, you can pretty much, that's
yeah.
his shape.
Oh yeah.
And those
Oh yeah.
those are his eyes for the design. Some of the aesthetics that you'll see pop up on these things and pick up choices in tone woods and colors and so forth. That's me working with Washburn. But
Right.
anyways, on the preacher front, it was just a really sexy, single cut guitar that was supposed to be kind of Paul's single cut.
Yeah.
Like taking the things that were made about the Les Paul, quite frankly, but then putting some twists on it. And if you own one, I mean, they're just great
Oh
guitars.
yeah. I
And
love it.
actually, it's probably the proudest thing I ever did with them
Cool.
was, believe it or not, an import run we did that he actually ended up using on the Australian Live the Wind tour live.
Wow.
I mean, he was using an import guitar on stage. It was really that good. So it was very, very humbling for me.
Yeah,
No
that's
question.
that's very cool. Hey, now I know you also did some work with Bernie Rico Jr., right?
Yep, I worked with Bernie for about 4 years there, and then he went direct. He was working direct, so I haven't done much with him in a couple of years. But that was a really great opportunity too. It opened me up to a different type of buyer, a different type of guitar enthusiast. So yeah, I long for those days. I probably would revisit that someday with Bernie. You never know with the guitar business. Nothing's forever, but things always then come back around again. So
Yeah, and man, just from what I've seen, and I mean, obviously, I'm in the middle of Wisconsin, so I'm not exactly in the
sure,
thick of things,
sure.
But just from what I've seen, online, everybody's loving what you're doing. Your reputation seems to be impeccable. I give you a big good on you for all of that, man.
Well, I appreciate that. It's reputation is everything. I mean, when online, especially because there's, my contact with customers is very rare. We don't, we are an interstate shipper primarily. We don't have the retail front here, so I don't get a lot of Pennsylvania, customers. I have a lot of friends in Pennsylvania, but not really a lot of customers. So your internet reputation is all you got. And sometimes you try to bridge that, make people feel comfortable by doing videos and trying to put a human spin on the interaction the best I can. But without your reputation, you've pretty much got nothing. That goes for life in general, but online, So we've treasured that and we've worked with that. 15 years on eBay and never had negative feedback. I mean, that's hold my head up pretty high on that one.
Well, as well you should. So now at this point, everything's growing for you. Are you still on your own, or how many people you got working there with you?
I am still a one-man show.
No
I am,
kidding.
and people don't believe that, but
Wow.
I've got about 2,200 square foot of office space in Pittsburgh here, and I have a very good friend of mine is named Fred Kowalo, and Fred is a very well-traveled and just an outstanding guitar tech. He's worked for Zach Wild and Black Label Society, Alice in Chains, about a host of other bands, and Shinedown, and now he's with Megadeth and has been for the last 5 years.
Cool.
So Fred will come in during the times that he's off the road. He'll help me with setups and on the design front as well. And then, honestly, I'm very good friends with Paul Stanley's tech, Fran Stuber. Fran's located out of LA, of
Sure.
course, and I do a lot of I use him as a consultant for the business as well. A very good friend. But in terms of who runs this thing, I'm still a one-man show.
Oh, excellent, man. But tell me, man, when do you sleep?
Not enough.
Right.
According to my woman, I don't sleep at all. But I hang upside down in the basement. Maybe I don't know. But I do fine. I got a great life. With two amazing kids, and I get plenty of time to spend with them, which is one of the benefits of running your own business. You can make your own schedule. So I wake up every day smiling. So I'm pretty happy guy.
Good for you, man. Hey, so tell me, I guess, what are we looking at in the future? Are you going to stay where you at? Are you looking to expand? What's on your brain, man?
I always, when I got into this business, I wanted to create the largest lifestyle business that I could handle, meaning, one-man show. And then what happened, it kind of got away from me a little bit around 2005 and 2006. We had so many projects with Washburn. It's right kind of before Paul even arrived. I had a great friend, Nick Catanese, who plays guitar for Black Label Society.
Yeah.
And Nick was with Washburn for about 4 years, kind of when I first married up with Washburn. And we did tremendous work on the Idol guitar with Nick. And from there, obviously the Dimebag thing came to a sad and abrupt ending there. But we just had a lot of projects, and the business kind of got away from me. And I kind of had to, put it this way, the economy, the bad economy helped realign my thinking, if you follow my drift
I
there.
would imagine,
But
yeah.
but it also made me realign that I just can't be everything to everybody.
Right.
And that was the whole idea of working with Washburn. We can't, Boogie Street is not going to provide, Gibsons and Fenders and PRSs and these big jazz boxes. We cannot be everything there. There's plenty of people who try to be everything to everybody.
Right.
We're just going to do one thing better than anybody else. And, as I say, we're the finest, Washburn and Parker dealer in the world. And forget the custom stuff, that's where we hang our hat. It's just the level of service and, how we're interacted with, or, how we're intertwined with that company to the depths that we are. That's our little specialized niche. So the artists that they have, obviously, Paul, and there's Nick Catanese and, Roger Waters and Scott Ian of Anthrax. We did a lot of work with him. Great guy.
Cool.
Those kind of unique things are just kind of icing on the cake for us.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. Interestingly enough, I was talking with a friend of mine owns a huge guitar store down in La Crosse, Dave's Guitar Shop, Dave Rogers from Dave's Guitar Shop. And I was.
I know Dave. It's funny you mentioned that, man. Did you happen to talk to him at all? Did he mention me at all? Because I got some interaction with Dave.
Interestingly, I'm going to be talking to Dave this week, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked up an old 72 Deluxe Les Paul, and I was talking about running it down to Dave, see what he can do with it.
Man, you know what? If you got a second, let me bridge this whole thing.
Yeah, right on.
When I started, obviously I was looking for product to sell and resell. It was all used guitars and vintage stuff.
Yeah.
And Dave was one of the sources that I used to buy from, the shows he'd go to, and I used to pick his brain. I even flew from Pittsburgh to La Crosse one afternoon to take him to lunch and pick his brain.
Wow.
And he will remember that. I'm sure he will remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And that would have been 1999, maybe early 2000.
Wow.
And what a fantastic guy. And I think I was there right when he built the new building.
Okay.
They just opened it up a couple a couple of days before that. And I'm trying to remember. There's a one young gentleman that took care of me up there now. He was with him for a long time. I think he's still there. He plays in the band, of course, as
Yeah.
well. And the name just escapes me, and that's a shame because he was a really superb kid. But yeah, Dave was one of the two people in this industry who did not turn their back on me when I had this crazy idea, to sell online only,
Right.
because the internet was so, it was so, not only was it new, but a lot of guitar dealers, went to it kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Dave did not. He embraced it right away. As you can see, it did wonders for his business.
Yeah,
But,
the thing is, the drummer in my band actually went to school with Dave.
oh, get out.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I met him. But he started that whole business out of his garage, just fixing and repairing old fenders.
Yes, yes.
And
Yes.
buying the ones that he liked, the ones that people want to get rid of, and look at him now.
Man. How about that second floor? I remember
Oh.
walking on that second floor, man. We're talking like 12, 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
I remember walking on that second floor where he had his office. And he had that little, I call it a museum. It was just like
Yeah, it
a
is.
balcony area there, and they were all hanging on the wall. And it was insane. I could not believe what I was looking at.
I know.
And I just,
I know, man. It's crazy up there. It's like a museum.
yes, it is. And so, if you're not into guitars, you really wouldn't be able to appreciate it in its entirety. But man, is that just something else? I mean,
Yeah, it's
and he
phenomenal.
was such a great guy too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just such a really, really, really great guy. And he I guess what I'm trying to say is he was never a detractor. And I had plenty of those in the beginning,
Mhm.
plenty. But there's another guy here in Pittsburgh, just so happens to be in Pittsburgh, who's probably the Les Paul guru of the world, which is Vic Dupree. And Vic owns the Guitar Gallery, and he's wrote a bunch of books on the Les Paul, and just another guy who just did not push me away, or was very receptive to the guy. I think he thought it was crazy. I don't think Vic understood the internet in the beginning very well, anyways. Nobody did really.
Sure.
But yeah, just two guys in this business and I point to those two guys only. That's funny that you brought up Dave. That is funny.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Man, he's responsible. He's part of the story for me, and part of the reason why I forged through.
Very neat.
Yeah, he was really, really good for me. I don't think he saw the whole Washburn thing coming, because when I was working with Dave, I was doing just strictly used guitars. But I just had that customization bug up my butt, and I just wanted some manufacturer to embrace me. And Washburn was my fifth choice.
Wow.
But it turned out to be the right one for me. That's for sure.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Well, I tell you what, man, I will be sure to say hi to Dave for you when I talk to him,
Absolutely. Yeah, please do. Please do. What a great guy. I just wish I remembered the name of the young man he had that helped me every time. I think he's still there, because I see him on Facebook once in a while.
Oh, I tell you, man, he's got such a great staff,
Casey. That's his name.
Yeah.
Casey
Yeah.
Virock. Virock, I believe. Virock. Yep. Good guy. Good kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those stories where you're not going to walk into it and know more about what you want than the guys working there. They know what they got.
Oh, there's no question. And it's like a guitar store like no other. I mean, if you could take a small, knowledgeable, kind of cozy store but make it big, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Yeah.
a superstore. It's not like a Guitar Center, and it just has that. I don't know. I mean, he's got it going on. Dave is a great guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
That's so cool you mentioned him, because he's part of the Boogie Street story. He definitely is.
That's cool, man. I was not aware of that. Yeah, I've known Dave, I guess, I don't know, I'd say 15, maybe 20 years, and I have nothing but good to say about him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's I'll tell you, and I can remember the ups and downs he had with Gibson. In the early years when I was in the business, I think Gibson, like many manufacturers, was struggling with the internet in the beginning, and they were giving all the dealers a hard time because first they didn't want them selling on the internet, then they did, then they wanted certain pricing a certain way. And I remember Dave had enough clout that at one time I think he was about ready to tell Gibson to get the bricks.
Oh, sure.
And but they must have made amends, thank goodness.
Well, I'll give you a good story, man. When Gibson got in all this heat a couple years ago with importing the Brazilian wood and all that stuff, PRS got hit with that too. I don't think they got hit as hard,
right?
But they got hit with it too. and the government finally went to him and said, they said, you can sell those guitars, but you can't export them. They all have to
Okay.
be sold in the
Okay.
United States. So Dave, being a big PRS guy, he's like, okay, I'll take them, and he bought like
I believe him.
he bought 700
Holy
PRSs.
smokes! You know what? That man would have the clout to do it.
Yeah,
He
right,
would have the clout to
right.
do it.
Yeah, I had to laugh.
Wow.
A buddy of mine got a call. He goes to Dave's a lot, and they called me. They said, "Hey, if you're looking for a PRS, now's the time to come get
Wow.
one."
Wow. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I remember with me, it was like, I was just this young guy at the time. I was working out of my home, and from late '98 until 2003, I worked out of my home, and it was
Okay,
all used guitars and the whole thing. I miss those days a lot. I will tell you, because it was
sure.
nice to wake up and you were at downstairs in my office, and then I had a basement that I turned into like a humidity controlled room, and there was the inventory, but. Now I kind of sometimes feel like it's a job. You leave the house and go to the office, but
Yeah.
but ultimately, in those early days, I mean, I used to, look at his list every morning, and then I'd go and I'd buy in volume, and he'd give me great pricing, and it was just he really meant a lot to me getting off the ground. There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
Very
He'll
cool, man.
remember. He'll remember. I'm sure he'll remember.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure he will. Dave's a stand-up guy, man.
Yeah.
So tell me, Eric, if people are looking for you online or something, where do they go? Where do they look?
Sure. They're pretty easy to find. I mean, we're at boogiestreet.com. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman, a great friend of mine up in Toronto, who is hopefully pretty done pretty soon here, revamping our complete web presence.
Cool.
And I will add this: if there ever, it can never be said that you cannot grow an internet business without a functional website. Because we did it, man. We did it. With us, it was eBay and Harmony Central in the beginning, and then Gbase and Facebook, just took over. Just in terms of connecting with people, and the sore spot of Boogie Street has always been our website. Not because we haven't had some good designers, we have, but I just never proliferated like we should. I know it sounds ridiculous, and people hearing that would probably think that's just insane, but we're going to correct that. This year we're going to finally get our web presence correct. But had I probably got that right from the beginning, life might have been a little easier. But hey, we're at boogiestreet.com, and if you check us out on Facebook, if you can't find us on Facebook, you're really not looking, because we've got a couple pages there. You can, whether it's under Eric McKenna or Boogie Street Guitars, you'll find us.
Cool. Hey, man, before I forget, I did want to ask you about one more thing. I know you were doing photography. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, sure, man. It's primarily a hobby. I get asked to do neighbors and friends' school photos and things. I always did that as I always give it away as gifts. But
Cool.
I did some concert photography over the last 10 years. Nothing serious. I did Megadeth a couple of times. I did Left Label Society shows, a couple of Anthrax shows. And then when I started working with Paul, my first question to him was, hey, can I take some photos live? We can use it for marketing. He's like, absolutely. So I started doing that. And, he kind of dug the photos. The staff around him, Keith LaRue and those guys dug it. Next thing you know, they were saying, hey, come on a couple of shows. We could use the photos.
Cool.
Let's work something out. So I've been real flattered on that end, too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
photography has been great.
Didn't they use one of your pictures for, was it an Engel ad? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Mike Berger over at Engel
Cool.
saw one of Paul that he liked, and Paul dug it, so they got approval, and did an Engel ad. One of my photos is also in the new Kiss Monster book, too.
Wow.
That's pretty humbling.
Yeah, that's pretty excellent, right?
Yeah. So, in the fans, it hasn't been a situation that I've monetized at all. I told Paul in the beginning, I'm in the guitar business. It's what I do. I said, I this collection of photos that I've received at some point in time, many years from now, when they're long retired and everything else, there might be an opportunity to present it in some fashion to the public. Maybe not. Not really on my radar right now. But the photos have been helpful for me to market Paul with the guitars that he plays that we are
Sure.
involved in.
Sure.
And that's pretty much been the But I will tell you, it is cool to see the work show up in other arenas.
Oh yeah, man, and they're great photos. I see them online all the time. One thing for sure is the Kiss Army is pretty strong. Nothing's getting by them.
No, it's amazing, and they got branches of it. Finland and
Yeah.
Sweden. One of the biggest branches is Australia,
Right.
and Boogie Street's just got a unique tie to Australia. We always have. That goes back to almost the beginning. The Australian guitar enthusiasts just always have dug us. And when it comes to the Kiss Army down there, I mean, we're real closely intertwined with them as well. So, yeah, the Kiss Army's amazing, as you know. I mean,
Oh man.
it's
Yeah,
it's pretty powerful. There's no
yeah.
question about that.
Yeah, it's quite a network, huh?
No doubt about that, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Right on. Well, I got to ask you, man, you know what's coming. What's your favorite Kiss album?
Oh man, I knew that was coming. Oh my God, my favorite Kiss album. It has to be Destroyer, because that's when I was 10 and some kid introduced me to Kiss with that. That record and Rush 2112, and that changed my life, I always say. But that Kiss Destroyer record has to be it. My favorite tune is Got to Choose.
Yeah. Mine's 1,000,000 to 1, but I got to tell you, Got to Choose a damn good song, man.
I like that too, man, I have to say. It's funny, I didn't appreciate it until many years later.
Well, I think circumstances sometimes dictate what songs we like. You know what I mean?
Right. No. Yeah, I'm with you, man. No, I get that. No doubt. No question.
All right, Eric. Hey, look, man, I can't thank you enough for doing this. And we'll get you on the radio and hopefully send some people your way, make you some money, man.
Oh, awesome, man. Listen, give me a heads up when it'll show.
Absolutely, will do.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.